Here we go, and we are live. So, yesterday, Trump officially was nominated as the presidential candidate and also announced as vice president. And yesterday, the markets already moved because of Trump and the attempted assassination over the weekend. And so, what's happening today after now he's confirmed? I mean, not that there was any doubt, but there is definitely something happening in the markets. And we had some more trades that we want to talk about. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. And today is Tuesday, July the 16th. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. And yeah, Mark, yesterday, we talked about it this morning with our mastermind. I didn't really pay attention of where we ended the day because, as you can see, I'm traveling right now. And it was kind of an all over the place day.
Yeah, it was interesting because you had that strong start, a gap higher, and then in the morning session we continued to rally, and it seemed like it was just kind of up, and away, and that was the theme for the day. But it definitely changed. You had a pull back in the late morning session going through lunch, then a little bit of choppiness, and another dip into the close. So we finished the day positive, but definitely giving back a lot compared to where we were earlier in the morning.
Yeah, and I think yesterday we just saw a lot of kind of rotations going on in various sectors, right? We talked about it. For example, yesterday, CSIQ, one of the solar stocks that we are in, got hammered, and the solar ETF had the worst day since February. Because again, everybody was anticipating, okay, Trump might get elected in November, so that there was some speculation, the so-called Trump bet. And well, we all know that he is not for renewable energies. This where CSIQ got hammered. HAL, a classical oil and gas company, on the other hand, I mean, oil and gas stocks rallied yesterday, up more than 4%.
Yeah, so I mean that was nice because we hold both of those, and it was kind of a one offsetting the other. So Halliburton, Soren, CSIQ, and Solar down, but a little bit of a bounce today, at least for Solar, and a continuation of that move higher for Halliburton.
Yeah. But going back to the overall market, I was a little bit surprised that yesterday we didn't see a stronger push higher because we also had Fed Chair Powell speaking. And Fed Chair Powell basically said that, all right, guys, listen, just so that we're all on the same page, we don't need to see inflation at 2% before we start lowering interest rates. We will do this before, obviously, as long as we see that inflation is moving, continue to move towards the 2%. So this is where we saw, oh my gosh, okay, the probabilities have been shifting here. Ah, Hachi. Okay,
Very tight.
because right now it's 100% probability that there will be a rate cut in September. And I mean, this moved from, I don't know, 75% to 80 something percent to yesterday 93. Now 100% cut. So you would think that the markets would react a little bit stronger to this.
Sure, and I that's very, very interesting because this far in advance, I really don't think through the whole rate hike and then the probability or potential of a cut taking place, I don't think we've had 100% probability with this much time left. Normally, there's just even a few percent if traders thought a cut was going to take place or they were going to raise, not 100%. So this is very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking also at interest rates or the yield, yes, continuing to move lower, but I mean, not really indicating this 100% just yet. At least to me, looking at this chart, I mean, we are not at the low levels that we had in the beginning of the year. We're still sitting at 4.45 in the 2-year yield, and then the 10-year yield 4.2%.
That is
Anyhow,
true.
so, earning season continuing. So, today we had kind of four big ones, I want to say. United Health, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Charles Schwab all reporting before the bell. Let's take a look at those.
Let's do it. Which one you want to look at first?
Let's do Morgan Stanley.
Sure. So Morgan Stanley. Interesting move because pre-market the stock was down almost 2%.
Right.
And looking at their earnings report, it just looked like maybe it was some profit taking or a little bit of, sell the fact after buying the rumor there, but they did report solid earnings, a beat on their earnings per share and also on revenue.
Yeah, and up 2.5% right now. Bank of America, next one, also huge move here, up 5% this morning.
This is huge. I mean, a 5% move for Bank of America. Bank of America really just continuing its move since the fall of last year, but some nice follow through and better than expected earnings. They also had better than expected revenue.
Yeah. Goldman Sachs, next one, to stick with the financials, also up 2%. I mean, it seems that we are off with a bang here into earnings season.
I would agree. Another earnings beat, revenue beat, and looking good.
Yeah, and then United Healthcare. So this were also up 5%, beating earnings. I mean,
Wow.
the earnings are just flying in here positive and stocks taking off.
Yeah, earnings beat, revenue beat, and I think even more interesting is that we're seeing this rally go throughout the day too. So it's not just like, gap higher and then a little bit of a pullback. It's gap and go.
Grab and go. All right. Well, let's take a look at what else happened today on the economic calendar. We had retail sales being reported, and a big surprise there.
Yeah, look at this. Core retail sales up 0.4% versus the 0.1% increase that was expected. Retail sales coming in flat, no change, but the expectation or forecast was a decrease of a minus 0.3%. So this just kind of shows that the Fed can cut without needing a weaker economy. People are still spending money. Retail sales look strong. And if inflation is coming down, that's where Powell said that the likelihood of a hard landing is very low.
Is very low. It looks definitely good. Well, let's take a look at our positions. Talking about looking good, Airbnb today, I mean, nice, up, and away, up 2% right now. So this is probably one of the trades that we are in right now that will close tomorrow. But we entered at 146. Right now we are trading at 150. Let's see what happens there. But this might be an exit that we see tomorrow morning.
I agree. I agree. Looking good. Nice follow through. Just the type of WTF trade that we're looking for, and a likely exit tomorrow morning. We'll have to see at the end of the day.
Disney also finally making a move today, up 1.5%. So moving towards our entry price here. So we entered at 99.40 right now, trading $1 below the entry price. So that's actually looking good. Let's see if we can push above our entry price and maybe above the 200-day moving average, and then get out of this one here as well.
I like that. Like the move.
All right. Other than this, no new signals, no exit signals. So we are in these two open positions and they are looking good. Moving over to our wheel positions, we have first up CSIQ, and after getting hammered yesterday, today, as you said, a nice rebound here. Let me just see if I can get the current price. Where's my blue bar coming? There it is. So up right now, 2%, was up a little bit more. And yeah, just let's keep going back up here. I think this was really the last push lower.
Yeah, it really seemed to be a bit of an overreaction, and would love to see the bounce now.
Yeah. Halliburton, oh my gosh, continuing the move higher today. And wow,
Wow.
this for us is working out really, really well because we got assigned at 34.50. And here is what I did. And for you, it looked very, very similar. So I was able to sell the calls against half of my position at 34.50 yesterday, collected $1,247 in premium. And today I was able to sell calls against the second half of my position at 36.50. This means I collected another $870. And if I'm getting called away, I'm also making $5,800 on the stock. So potentially this could be six, seven, almost could be an $8,000 trade, depending on where we end this week.
Yeah, nice, consistent profits there. And we had a similar plan. I decided to go a little more conservative with the 36 strike being the second half that I was targeting. So that would give me $1.50 profit on the stock in addition to all of the premium that's collected. So I mean, and we split it, right? So we sold
Right.
half of our calls at our cost basis to get that good premium. Nice move here. And I would love for it to stay up around these levels, but we also have to keep in mind there is earnings on Friday.
Earnings
So a little bit of earnings risk potentially.
coming out on Friday before the bell. And if you look at our earnings here for Halliburton, as said, it's kind of a hit and miss. It seems that they're
Yep.
always beating in terms of the EPS, but the price move reaction on the seventh day, kind of 50-50. So six times up, six times down over the last 12 quarters. On average, up 5%, down 7%. So yeah, Friday will be a wild card.
Yeah, and we always know earnings can be hit or miss, and there can be a move that's unexpected. But where we're at right now, I feel very comfortable holding into earnings. I mean, even if we get this pullback, it could put us right around where we were assigned anyway, and we just continue to sell calls.
Yeah, because if we right now look at the expected move, we see that right now the expected move for Friday is at 37.31 to the upside and 35.10 to the downside. And as said, even if we drop below the 34.50 again, we can play the same game next week again.
Exactly. So 68% chance we stay in that range there. And that would mean that, but to the upside there as well, there's a real low probability anything can happen, but a low probability will be below 35.
Yeah, so it's kind of an 84% probability that we are staying above 35.10. So, all right.
Exactly.
Looking good. KSS, that is a trade that I entered yesterday. A little bit all over the place. So yesterday I decided to sell the 2150 put. I got $1,175 in premium. And we'll see. Right now it's trading at 2179. If you want today, you could actually. That's not what I want to do. You could jump onto the 21 strike price. Again, I got 25 cents yesterday for the 2150. Let's see what happens here before Friday. But this new trade, I entered it, you decided to skip it, and we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Looking good so far.
And then UPS! Yippee! Wow, what a move. In the past 5 trading sessions, up 10%. For UPS, that's a huge, big move.
Huge, huge. And I would love to see this continue. I mean, I saw a list of stocks that have been trading near their 52-week lows. And it's very interesting because we know that the market has been making record highs. The S&P is making records. NASDAQ's making records. We're finally seeing a little bit of a shift from those mega cap stocks to small caps. So IWM is off and running. But UPS was one of those stocks that is near a 52-week low or was near a 52-week low, now finally rallying. This is a solid company. This is what we're waiting for.
Yeah. So, not being able to sell calls just yet, but definitely getting much closer to call selling territory here.
Looks like it.
All right. Yeah, you mentioned IWM. IWM just up and away. So the
Oh my
small caps, the Russell 2000, look at that. What a move over the past few days. 10% in an index? That's a lot.
It's crazy. When we were in Barcelona with our mastermind members, I mean, this is where we decided to be a little more aggressive with IWM and sell some puts that were a little closer to the actual price of that index, and we were talking about how the risk with IWM, at least in our assessment and opinion, was minimal. And I mean, we were able to make some money for a couple of weeks, but then it just goes crazy. I mean, we knew that it had the potential to make a move just by what it represents, but I would have loved to own some shares of IWM before it actually took off.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what we often see with IWM. It is trading in a range, right? Then it takes off, trades in a different range. So now taking off, probably trading in the next range. So
Sure.
might be able to sell some puts around the 210 if we see a little bit of a pullback here as soon as this
That could
rally
be the
exhausts.
yep. But what a move!
What a move. What a move. Okay, before we see and take another look at the indices and see what's happening there, it is time for the joke of the day. What do you got for us today?
Well, did you hear about the guy that invented lifesavers?
Nope.
They said he made a mint.
Okay. Okay. A little bit lame today, I think. So let's see what I got for you. See,
All
earlier
right.
today, somebody called my phone, sneezed, and hung up. I thought, wow, I really hate these cold calls. No, maybe.
We'll have to let the viewers
All
decide on
right, all
that
right, all
one.
right, all right. So, looking at what's happening here in the markets right now, S&P 500 trading towards session highs. The Dow up, up and away. I mean, just yesterday we cracked the 40,000. Now we are taking the 41,000 level. I mean, up 1.5%. And
Wow.
Nasdaq just kind of flat. So this shows us, probably also as we head over here to the heat map, that we are moving out of. Let's just go there. Yeah, that we're out moving out of tech stocks. Look at this. I mean, the magnificent seven here, all down. Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Apple. Where's Amazon? Amazon slightly up, but then into the good old Dow stocks here. So we're seeing a rotation from the more aggressive tech stocks into the Dow, at least today.
At least today, I started talking about it last week while you were sick. It definitely looked like that rotation. The small caps are definitely getting some interest, which I think is good for the overall market, right? Because when we had so many of those gains and those up days with the S&P making new records, that was driven by the mega caps.
Yeah,
Now it looks like everything's starting to catch up, which is good for the economy, good for the Fed.
definitely. All right. Well, with that said, we're already at the end of the show, and we hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like. Really appreciate it. If you found this content good stuff that is worth sharing, there's a share button right underneath. And if this is your first time here, just subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it because we'll be back here tomorrow morning to let you know how we are trading these markets and what is happening. And until then, have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everybody.